Vandredi at the End of the Pacific by Michel Tournier. Meeting the Real Me on a Deserted Island. Vandredi at the End of the Pacific by Michel Tournier. Have you ever imagined a scenario where you are the only person left in a vast world? What would happen if all the things we take for granted, social rules, money, cell phones, and complex interpersonal relationships, were suddenly stripped away? Perhaps this question seems strange and unnecessary to consider. However, Michel Tournier's Vandredi at the End of the Pacific presents a remarkable narrative that vividly brings forth this very question before us. This book goes beyond being a simple adventurous tale, posing deep and fascinating questions about the way we live, the values we believe in, and what it truly means to be human. Some of you might find reading books difficult or boring, but this story needs no specialized knowledge or particular cultural sophistication. You can enjoy it fully with just the instinctive imagination and primal nature inherent in all of us, offering a new perspective that might help reshape our lives. So, let's embark together on this journey to a deserted island. 1. Isolation amidst the vast ocean. Robinson's solitary kingdom. The story begins with a man named Robinson Crusoe who is shipwrecked and stranded on a deserted island. The name may sound familiar to you. Indeed, he is the protagonist of a well-known novel. However, this book is a complete reimagining of the original Robinson Crusoe narrative. Cast alone in the middle of the ocean on an island devoid of everything, Robinson first feels despair in the face of the vast sea and loneliness. Yet soon after, he regains his composure and starts a struggle for survival. What would you do in such a situation? Surely you would first search for food and a place to sleep. Robinson did the same. Using the tools he salvaged from the wreckage and his own knowledge, he gradually built his own kingdom on the island. He cultivated fields, raised goats, built a house, and even created a calendar and kept a diary to mark the passage of time. Most surprisingly, he established laws and rules on the island. He woke up at regular times, followed a set schedule, and went to bed at fixed times. He classified and efficiently managed all the island's resources, as if he had transplanted a small society onto the island. Why did Robinson do this, even though he was alone? Was it merely for survival? No. This part offers significant insight for us. Robinson desperately tried not to become an animal, fighting against his primal instincts to remain a rational, civilized human. To him, rules and order were shields that proved he was still human. How about you? We are all, knowingly or not, living within various rules, social laws, workplace regulations, family promises, even personal goals and habits. If we lost all these rules, would we truly become more free? Or would we, like Robinson, feel anxious and search for new rules? Robinson's early survival period acts as a mirror, showing how much we are social creatures seeking to confirm our existence through order and system. 2. The arrival of Friday, meeting a new world. One day, after Robinson had fully established his own civilization on the island and was enduring lonely days, an unexpected change came into his life. This was the arrival of a native boy named Friday. After rescuing Friday from being chased by cannibals, Robinson began a strange cohabitation with him. Robinson sought to civilize Friday in his own way. He clothed him, taught him language, showed him how to work, and required him to follow his established rules. At first, Friday appeared to be a faithful servant to Robinson. However, Friday proved to be a completely different being than what Robinson expected. Friday was a creature perfectly harmonized with nature. Unlike Robinson, he didn't measure time, didn't plan, and didn't worry about the future. What mattered to him was the joy and immediacy of the present moment. He listened to the sounds of nature, danced in the wind, and savored each fleeting pleasure. In stark contrast to Robinson's strict and efficient methods, Friday treated everything as a game, a play. The animals Robinson cherished became Friday's playmates, and Robinson's painstakingly constructed order was occasionally dismantled by Friday's innocent behavior. The meeting between these two characters goes beyond a master-servant relationship, reflecting a clash between two completely different values and philosophies. Robinson represents a civilized man who values effort, achievement, and possession. In contrast, Friday embodies a natural man who cherishes the moment, harmony, and freedom. Don't you see similar people around you? Some people gather money, strive for honor, and constantly work toward achieving something. Others pursue humble happiness, enjoy the present, and place more importance on relationships and experiences rather than material wealth. Robinson and Friday are extremes that represent the two sides of ourselves or the two common lifestyles we often encounter. Can we say that one way of life is more correct than the other? Rather than providing an answer, this book simply presents the question to us. 3. The Reverse Teacher and Student, Discovery of the True Human. As Robinson and Friday continued to live together, a pivotal event eventually occurred. A stored powder explosion destroyed all the civilization Robinson had painstakingly built on the island. His fields turned into wastelands, his house collapsed, and all the tools and possessions he had cherished were lost in an instant. This explosion was more than an accident, it symbolized the collapse of the civilization prison that had confined Robinson. Losing everything, Robinson fell into deep despair but also gained freedom. From then on, there was no need to disguise himself as a civilized person, nor to be bound by rules. For the first time, he began to accept Friday's way of life, being one with nature. Their roles were now reversed. Initially, the civilized Robinson sought to teach the savage Friday, but now the natural Friday began teaching the true wisdom of life to Robinson. Robinson learned from Friday the joy of play, the preciousness of the moment, communion with nature, and pure innocence. He no longer suppressed himself through reason and control, but ran freely in nature, guided by his body and senses. Robinson's transformation is fascinating. He chose to embrace a dirt-covered body instead of clean clothing, free movement instead of rigid rules, and joyful play instead of efficient labor. Now, he is no longer Robinson, but a being cradled in the arms of nature. When he cast off the mask of civilization, he finally faced his true self. This process brings a profound realization. Have we created many things we consider being human within the framework imposed by society? We constantly ourselves to earn money, gain recognition from others, and become better people, sometimes losing our true selves in the process. Robinson's change whispers to us to break free from our prejudices and preconceptions, and to seek the innate purity and joy resting within us. True freedom is not found in owning or controlling everything, but in completely accepting ourselves, free from all constraints. 4. Questions the book poses to us in search of true life. Vandredi at the End of the Pacific is not just a story about a deserted island. It presents questions that we all must ponder throughout our lives. What exactly are civilization and savagery? Are the things we call civilization truly superior and correct? Is a life focused on efficiency and rationality really the happiest way to live? Conversely, this book shows us that true wisdom and happiness might actually be hidden within those we dismiss as savage. Why do we live? Robinson constantly worked and possessed things on the island to reproduce civilization. Meanwhile, Friday enjoyed the present and lived harmoniously with nature. Through the lives of these two characters, we begin to reconsider where true satisfaction and happiness truly come from, that is, the real purpose of our lives. Will money, honor, and success completely fulfill our lives? Or is the simple joy, communion with nature, and relationships with loved ones more important? Who exactly am I? If I remove the mold and rules of society and the expectations of others, what would I really be? Am I truly living the life I want, or am I living by others' standards? Just as Robinson discovered himself on the deserted island, this book reminds us that we, too, need to occasionally let go of everything and face our true selves. In the final part of the book, a ship from the world of civilization appears before Robinson and Friday. Robinson chooses to remain on the deserted island when he meets people again, rather than returning with them to the world of civilization. In contrast, Friday departs with a young sailor toward a new world. This twist makes us think more deeply. Robinson found true freedom and happiness on the island, while Friday continued toward new adventures and change. Neither choice is the definitive answer, both found their own way of life. Closing thoughts, a recommendation to you. How did you feel reading this? I hope this book has created a small ripple in your heart. Vandredi at the End of the Pacific is not a difficult book only for scholars and literary critics. Rather, it is a book that presents the most essential questions of our lives in the most fascinating narrative. Perhaps you might think reading is too difficult or that you lack the knowledge to understand it. However, you can read this book without those concerns. Like the protagonist Robinson, we all have moments in life when we lose things and must start anew. When familiar things crumble and we must find new direction amidst confusion and uncertainty, this book can offer you courage and inspiration. This book will expand your view of the world you live in, the relationships you form, and how you see yourself. While a single book may not completely change your values, it will definitely present new possibilities and questions you never considered before. Just as Robinson opened his eyes to a new world through Friday, you, too, might begin to see the world and yourself differently through this book. Go to a bookstore right now and find this book. Listen closely to the story of Robinson, who is stranded alone on the vast ocean. There, you will meet your own Friday and discover your own true self. Reading is not difficult, it simply begins with opening your heart and listening. I believe that Vandredi at the End of the Pacific will be the beginning of a wonderful journey for you.